Hey golfers, it's JH. Welcome to the practice tee. Okay, channel lock. Just a couple of points. A couple of points today. Okay, relative to measurement. I can't give you inches because I'm built the way I am and you're built the way you are. Your limbs will be different lengths and your other segments will be different lengths, so you'll be in a different position. But suffice to say, for me, when I set up here, and I'm trying to get as close to as I possibly can to the golf ball these days, so that I can take the club here in a straight line. So, I mean, this is a 5-iron here, so you know, how far away from me is the ball? Someone asked me. I don't know how far that is, maybe 15 inches, I don't know. But it's irrelevant, guys. The main thing is that you stand as close as you possibly can to the golf ball. And get your arm in here as close as you can to your body. So then all you've got to do, really, is just turn here and then return. Just turn and return. Turn and return. And that will give you a straight line effect. If you're a long way away, guys, if you're here, you sit up there. Problem with that is that I can't straight line it here. I'm just too far away from the ball. But it will tend to propagate me wanting to arc the club because I'm in that position. I'm in sort of an arcing type position. Very hard from being that far away from it to take it here. The body doesn't want to do that. But when I get here, it does want to do that. It wants to do that. So you'll feel the distance that you need to be away from the ball when you can get this feeling. When you set up here and you can get that feeling quite comfortably. If you're a long way away from it, that feeling won't be comfortable at all. I mean, I couldn't swing it. I'd never get back to the golf ball. So I want to be as on top of it as I possibly can. And my trail hand or arm, when I'm set up correctly, it's very close to my body here, very close. The handle is almost on my thigh here. Here. And of course, with channel, because of being here, on here, if I came down with a conventional golf swing and I started to turn my hips, the club would run into my hips. But with channel lock, because we're keeping everything back, we want to keep the shoulders back and the torso back and the hip back when we fire it, the club doesn't run into our trail hip, but it would if we move that trail hip. If we had the hand here and that club is almost on my thigh here, if I took that back here and then I move that as I come in, I'd run into it. So I don't want to do that. I want to keep all this back and closed. So I'm here. Bang, bang. And the club goes out, guys. Even with the channel block shoulder, club goes out here and it still releases. It releases. It doesn't go out like that. It goes out and releases. So in terms of a distance, I can't give you a distance, a measurement. Suffice to say, just do 10 minutes of setting up like this. Try and get dead square onto the camera. Try and set up like that. See how I've got this here and this here. And then from there, guys, you can just take the club this way. Now the other thing about the alignment, which I keep going over, which seems to be a difficult point for a lot of people to uptake on. For example, if I was dead square to the line here, at address, and I back-cocked my shoulders and I fired it here and kept my shoulders closed, I would hit the ball right for a right-hander because my shoulders would be pointing right. because I haven't compensated. Now when you see me come in these days, I'm orientated to the amount of compensatory angle I need in my shoulder girdle now. I know what that is. So I don't have to go through the process of turning my feet, stepping away here and then back cocking my shoulders onto the target line. I don't have to do that anymore because I've already got it. I know what the feeling is. But for anyone that hasn't got that, you've got to just think of it in these terms, guys. If you're dead square here, and you got the ball way back here and you're dead square to the line here, and you just turned your shoulders there, and you were going to fire the club at the ball, they'd be pointing there. I keep demonstrating this, but that's the reality of it. So we have to get that turned around to there. So when we're applying the club, the shoulder's got to be square for the ball to go straight towards the target, or start just a little right of the target, because the swing path is in to out. So that's the difference, guys. We have to get this compensatory angle of the shoulders, and really it's this. If I'm here, I'm over here to start with. I'll pick my target up there, which is the tree. I'm over here, there. Now I'm going to back cock my shoulders here. Now my shoulders are square, even though they're turned, they're square to the target line, or a little bit close to the target line, which is what I want them to be. And then after I've done that, after I've done the coordinating of the targeting here, and then the shoulder, then I back cock the shoulder to square here, I can bring this foot up. It doesn't matter what this foot does. Forget the foot line. Foot line has no bearing on where the club head is going, because the arms are connected to the shoulders again, which I keep referring to. I'm trying to play the ball further back now than I normally do. Here. That's normal. I'm trying to actually get it to there, guys. There, and get on top of it. Then I can really fire it in. And to get the feeling of that without a golf ball, or have a golf ball here, set up there, then move forward a bit, and then move on top of it. Then knock the golf ball away. Then have some practice swings and go, and look where the club is hitting the ground. And you'll see that the divot is going straight there, beside the body. Now essentially that's what we want to have in the golf swing, but we don't want to have that divot going straight there. We want to have that divot going there. And that's why it's the same thing here. When I've got it back here, if I have my shoulders closed here, if I back cocked here, that divot will be pointing straight over there. So you have to work out how far left you have to take this shoulder girdle at address to get that divot pointing at your target, or just a little right of it. That's a good way of working out what your angularity compensation differential has to be for you. That's a good way of working it out. Have a look at the divot. If I get here, turn here and I fire it, that divot is right beside me here. It won't be that extreme in the golf swing, but if I can get it there, that'd be great. But I don't want the divot pointing out there, because the ball, if I did that, if I was here and I had my shoulders pointing here, I fired the club, the ball would go straight out there and the target's there. We don't want that. So work out when you're doing that, just with no ball there, have a feel of, again, what it feels like to have the club back here, take it here, and then fire it there beside the body, and have a look at the divot. If you can get the divot 90 degrees to this side of your body there, that's channel lock. That's channel lock in the extreme, which you'll have to build up to. To get it back there requires a huge amount of discipline. That's really hard even for me. But that will give you the feeling of swinging beside your body. That is channel lock. Swinging beside the body, not in front of it. Now you've got to take that divot from facing that way to facing this way. And you just got to work out how to do that. You've still got to be swinging here, but you've got to turn around. There, guys, that's it. I'm still hitting here. The original one was swinging here, 90 degrees to the camera. There, that's 90 degrees to my target. I want to get on the target, so what have I got to do? That divot's turning around. That divot now points towards my target. That's how you do it. That's how you work it out. Now it's weird, really hard to do, but nothing changes. That process and that engineering and that mechanics doesn't change. All it changes is your alignment and the shoulder girdle where it ends up pointing. But the actual hitting beside the body and the action of channel lock doesn't change at all, not in the slightest, not in any manner or form. So that's a good way of working it out. Just keep watching the divot. If I was here and I was 90, I had my shoulder, the divot's 90 degrees. Shoulders are closed. Now the divot's pointing here. So that's where I need to be. That's how you work it out, guys. Just watch the divot as it comes around. Don't change any of this, and don't change the geometry orientation of the club swinging beside the body with the closed shoulders. Just bring it around. Just keep stepping around till you get your divot pointing at the target. That's a good way of doing it. Maybe I could have saved a lot of consternation and anguish with people generally in them trying to set up, because it's very hard to explain how you've got to get the shoulder girdle turned around so that it's pointing to your target or just a little right of your target. That's the tough thing, because this process of the club swinging here beside the body never changes. The only thing that changes is where the shoulder girdle goes and where the divot ends up being. Here. So guys, I hope that, or golfers, I hope that's a better explanation. And I'll get better at this going forward, and that's why I just need more time to perfect channel lock and the instruction of channel lock. The information required to be able to apply channel lock has to be more foolproof. And it wasn't. And I have to come up with a mechanism to do that, because this is very, very difficult in terms of a golf swing relative to its geometry and its target orientation and the feel of that. That's very, very difficult to come to grips with. Very difficult. Okay guys, so that's just more, and I'll just keep adding to that. You know, I'm learning. I know what I feel myself, and I can hit the shot, but it's instinctive. I have to be able to get that instinct out in verbal explanation form. That's what I must do. And as I say, I'm getting better at it. It's going to take a while. It might take me 6 months. And I'm not going to go and get involved in channel lock and try and introduce it if it's not ready. That'd be the silliest thing in the world. You don't want to confuse people. You want them to pick it up, hit it and say, that's great, that's a revelation, I love this. I don't want them to say, I can't do this. How does that guy swing it? The way he's swinging is not what he's telling us. And I want it to be, the way I swing it is the way I'm going to tell you. And the way that you'll be able to apply it. Okay guys, that's just basically the start of the building of the foolproof method of application of channel lock. It'll get to the stage where you'll understand it, and that's all it is you understanding it. me coming up with a formula and a system where you can understand it. Okay guys, I'll be working on it full bore from now on. So I hope today was the start of a little bit more of an easier understanding for most of you. Okay, we will do more over the weekend if the weather's okay. The weather's okay. It never rains here anymore. It's like being in the Gobi Desert. It's so dry here. The ground is just, everything's dead. Okay guys, we might do some more tomorrow.